So right away we're a little far forward. Yeah, position is a little... Okay, so basic thing to remember with Lucio, right? We have a Moira on our team, so you're not going to be focused on healing, right? So your job as Lucio is to bust your tanks around, right? You're going to be dictating whether they can engage fast or, you know, back away. So, you know, just kind of not necessarily playing under Ryan's hip, but like, you know, playing close enough to him where you can be able to, you know, kind of switch between pushing forward and backing off whenever you want. But definitely not positioning here because they can push you super easily right here. So just, you know, just playing the left behind your Ryan shield. Right now we should be on speed. No need to heal, right? Your team's already pretty much full, and you're just trying to chase kills. Like, we already got 2 picks, right? Your Hanzo killed 2. He killed 3 actually, but he already killed 1 or 2, so now you're just going to want to push in to kill stuff. So, but you have heal on, right? So yeah, it looks like the biggest thing is going to be dictating when we switch between heal and speed. I know a lot of lower ranked Lucios struggle with that. They struggle knowing when to go between heal and speed. It's like right here, just speed your run out. Yeah, just get them out. While reading mechanics, not too bad either. But the general rule of thumb, your heal generally won't save people all that often. Right? Obviously, like if your run's taking a ton of damage, then you know you're gonna want to amp heal him, right? But like if someone's like to the point where they're overextending, you know, if they die, like if they're gonna die with you in speed, they're probably gonna die with you in heals as well. So a lot of times it's just better to speed people out than heal. So right now we should be speeding away. Right? Our shield broke. You know, our Ryan's still pretty healthy. Oh, he just pins in like a mad lad. Okay. So what should happen right here is we should be speeding away and getting out, right? Because our shield's broken, and they have all of their spawns right here. So what should be happening is you just speed away and then back up around this corner, right? Obviously, your Ryan had a different plan. He just kind of hits the charge button and goes in. But yeah, like I said, but you kind of dictate where your tanks go and when. So yeah, so this may be why you feel like you have you know, you're asking if 10k heals is okay as Lucio, because you're sticking on speed, right? You're exclusively on speed or on heal, sorry. You're like exclusively on heal when you're trying to move people around. So do the Reaper. Yeah, we come. Yeah, your team kind of died. Bit of an aggressive beat there. Fight's pretty much over, but it actually looks like you guys are gonna get value out of it. Okay. Big thing I want to mention, they have a Sig. They have a Sigma, right? This is gonna be the big thing that you're shutting down with beat, right? And it's already been a couple fights. Now obviously, you know, you won the fight there, but it wasn't necessarily because of the beat, right? It was your Ryan came back and hit a shatter. Right? So we'll look at this. So oh wait, no, this is not far enough. Still not far enough. So you beat for yourself and Zarya, right? But this isn't necessarily why you win this fight, right? Your Ryan hits a shatter. Yeah, he hits a shatter on 3 people. So what I would have liked to seen is, like, even though, you know, it may seem like you would have been able to win this fight because you beat it here, at the same time, they can just come back in 30 seconds from now with this Sigma ult and just win the game. But I'm totally heal bot on Lucio. It's because Lucio heal, I get 20k plus heals on it. That's what I built a habit for. Yeah, Lucio, like if you feel like your team isn't getting enough heals as Lucio, and you feel like you find yourself on heals a lot of the time, then it may just be a better choice to switch to a different character at that point. So yeah, but here, you know, although sometimes it is good to beat in a clutch scenario, you know, and keep your team alive, but like here, your team wasn't taking any damage, you know, and your Ryan came back and shattered. So, you know, if you were gonna beat that, I would have liked to see you beat later in the fight, like as the fight developed a little bit, you know, because you did have the spawns. But otherwise, you should be saving it for ults. It's going to be the best option for beating. What makes it so good is shutting down ultimates. Moira is now your most played comp, and I'm not very proud of it. Yeah, I will say this. A lot of tank players struggle when they're not getting absolutely pumped with heals. But like the better tank players are the ones that know how to play around not having a ton of heals. So I don't know if you guys are aware or not, but currently the meta, or what is part of the meta right now is Zen Mercy. That's what is being played a ton at higher levels. And obviously Zen Mercy very low heals. So the tanks have to adapt and play around it, right? But if the tanks are adapting and able to play around it, you have a ton more damage, so you don't necessarily need those heals, right? But I rarely play that in comp, just because comp is a place where there are a lot of players who aren't very good, right? So Moira just kind of erases mistakes by healing them up, more than they should. Okay, so we're a little far forward. Is our Rhine dead right here? Okay, yeah, our Rhine died and came back. So we're a little far. Our whole team is a little far forward here. But we got the graph off, so we ended up living through it. Yeah, but once again, we're chasing down kills right now. Just feel free to speed. And once again, your heals would not save your Rhine there, especially because he got antied. So the best option right there is to just speed him out, right? And he may have actually been able to live this dragon if you speed him here. So yeah, it looks like we are just... That's going to be the biggest issue that I'm seeing, is we're sticking on heals for way too long. And a little bit of positioning as well. Okay. Yeah, once again, a little bit too far forward, and we're jumping like crazy. This Hanzo should kill you every single time for taking this angle. I say this in every single one of my streams. I don't think I've streamed a single time without saying jumping is bad, but jumping is very bad. Yeah, our Zarya's overextended, so now we need to speed her out again, right? But once again, we're just kind of sitting on heals, which doesn't really do much, especially with the Moira. Okay, so we have beat again. So we actually got a second beat before their Sigma ulted, but that's kind of just because the Sigma player just didn't press ult for some reason. So the thing I commented on before didn't really come into play. All right, nice beat. There you go, perfect. Completely shut down the ult. Okay. Yeah, just still sticking on beat. So if you feel like you're a little slow as Lucio, I don't know if you watched any Lucio streamers or something like that, but they're like all over the place. Like Red Shell will be, or like someone like SK, right, will be like from across the point, and then she'll be over at the other side in like 0.2 seconds, right? But because you're sitting on the heal so much, you're not able to move around quickly, you're not able to get away from people, you're not able to get to people. Okay. So we're just kind of killing staggers here. Okay, not bad. Good first hold though. You guys did not get punished for a lot of overextending mistakes that we made. But like I said, a lot of the mistakes your tanks were making, you can erase with speed by getting them out, right? Because a lot of Reinhardts, they'll press, they'll press the charge button, right? They'll charge in, and they won't realize it's a mistake until after the charge finishes, right? And then when that happens, they're like, oh crap, I gotta leave. So that they start to backpedal. And if you're speeding them out, you can potentially save them. Yeah, you can potentially save them from that scenario, because they only realize it afterwards, after they pin terribly. So we'll skip ahead here to our attack, see what we got going. But pretty much probably just gonna be the same thing. You always find myself just forcing my team to push forward on hard situations as speed boost on a choke. Unfortunately, especially at lower elos, people will just stand in chokes, right? Lucio kind of breaks that. If you literally just speed boost people, they will just naturally move forward, right? So if your team's just standing in choke like it looks like they're doing right now, speed. Your monkey's in. Yeah, you want to be speeding so the diva can follow up with him, right? Because even if your diva is not smart enough to realize that she has to fly in order to be able to DM him, if you speed the diva, she's suddenly in range to DM the monkey. Didn't need the amp heal here. Your team's not taking damage. Kind of wasted use on the amp. And also we're just kind of standing out in the open again. So yeah, one thing, actually I'll mention at the end, actually. So if you didn't know how amp works, you actually, during like the duration of amp, right? So like we'll look in the bottom right here. Season 34, most games I still had Lucio, but I still only play Lucio. Yeah. So we'll go to 53 when you amp, right? So we amp here, right? So this is exactly where we amp, right? Amp is not a one and done thing, right? So if you look in the bottom right, it's active, still active, still active, right? All the way to here. Right, that's I don't know the exact duration, but that's almost like 2 full seconds. So the way it works, right, is it's active, and whatever mode you have on at the time, either heal or speed, that gets the amp, regardless of if you just press the button or not, right? So in this scenario, you amp heal, right, but your team wants to push in, right? So you, okay, wait, so we already amped. Let me go back a little. You're not usually trusting either. I'll talk about that in a second. Basically, I'm just going to talk about amp real quick, and then I'll talk about that in a second. But like right here, we amp heals, but realize that we need to walk forward, right? So you amp heals right here, and then instantly switch to speed, right? And guess what? That speed, if you use it like right now, it still gets the effect of the amp, right? And then suddenly your diva is now in range. Because currently she's not in range to DM the monkey, right? She's missing it. She's not hitting any of it, other than like the fire strike. But she's currently not in range. But if we speed and get this amp, now your diva's in range. Now your team's starting to walk through choke just naturally because you sped them. Yeah, generally just not using speed enough. So real quick, I'll talk about what you said in chat. I'm not usually trusting the other healer manage healing. Sometimes you have to trust them. The way I always talk about it, especially for the person on, like the second person that's on your role, whether that's a tank or whether that's a healer, give them the benefit of the doubt. You know, trust them until they prove that they can't be trusted, not the other way around, right? You have a Moira here. She's more than enough to handle healing. Excuse me. I don't know. I'm sneezing up a storm. Anyway. Moira is more than enough healing for an entire team, right? She's still extremely broken when it comes to healing, right? You know, if she proves, like, throughout the game that she's damaging way too much and never healing her team, then maybe you want to switch to a more healing-focused style, or you maybe even want to switch characters. Amp is 3 seconds, by the way. Thank you. Yeah, so that's amp is 3 seconds. But yeah. Trust them until they prove that they can't be trusted, not the other way around, right? You'll find that you'll it just becomes a lot easier on yourself, right? Because then you're getting more utility out of this character, because Lucio's not a healer, right? Lucio is not a healer. He is a support, right? Moira's a healer who's also a support, right? But Lucio is first and foremost a support, right? Hit speed boost, no one else in the game has this. Right. No one has this ability to speed his team around and to get them through places faster, through chokes faster. No one has that. So in order to be getting the utility that we want out of it, we need to trust our other healer, right? Because, you know, Lucio's never going to be the main support or main healer, you know, who's pumping out the most heals. So we need to be able to trust our other healer, right? And I know, especially at lower elos, you're like, I don't want to trust my players on my team. Because, you know, you've had bad experiences in the past where, you know, there's like someone who's just off damaging, not healing your team, that kind of stuff. But that's not every single game, right? You know, so there are a lot of people who are better than the rank they're in, and they're currently climbing, but they're still at that rank, right? Whereas there are also bad people who also are at a higher rank than they should be. So you're going to play it by a case-by-case basis, right? Okay, this Moira's damaging way too much, now I need to heal. But okay, the next game, I have a Moira who's healing a ton. She's getting coalescence every single fight. Now, like, then you can, you know, focus on speed. So that's kind of my rant for that. But like I said, trust people until they prove that they can't be trusted. It's usually the best way to play the game. That's how I do it. even at GM level, there you know there are players that kind of prove that they can't be trusted. Some have a bad rep from previous games because there's not a ton of people at that level. So you can get some people multiple games, so you already know going into the game. But otherwise, like if it's someone random you don't know, like trust them until they prove that they're not good or can't do their job. A little aggressive on the positioning there. Obviously, I think we kind of know what was going on here, but yeah, we walked up a little too far in front of our team. Make sure we kind of stick behind our tanks at all times. Okay, so keep going here. We're coming back. Yeah, looks like your DPS just kind of killed everyone. Yeah, we just end up capping. So, yeah, let's win. Only had to get a tick, but I think we kind of covered everything pretty much. If they have a bad rep, they get called by the term shitters, yeah, or shittas, one of the two. But basically, Lucio is super powerful, especially for like this choke area right here. Lucio can absolutely just make this choke no longer exist. Sorry for the background noise. Using that term. I'm a little toxic in other games, okay? Yeah, but like I said, you need to learn to trust our other healer, as well as get a little bit more utility out of that speed boost, right? Sitting on heal the whole game doesn't really help you out all that much. So, finding a good balance between the two, where you're healing when you need to, peeling for other support, obviously, but then speed boosting your tanks around as much as physically possible, and getting as much value out of that as we can. Other than that, mechanics aren't too bad. Your wall riding looks good. Obviously, you're going to want to keep practicing it, though. Can always use work. So yeah, for sure, keep working on those, those wall riding Lucio surf things in the meantime, because that's not really something you can practice. Is kind of the base understanding of the game. But yeah, get a little bit more use out of that speed boost. Trust your healers a little bit more, and then the ult. Obviously, this is only an 8-minute game, so I don't really have a whole lot of information on ults. We only use 2 ults the entire game, so I'm not going to really comment on anything on that. But obviously, make sure we're using ultimate to shut down games whenever, or to shut down ults whenever possible. So yeah, I think that's pretty much going to be it. If you have any other questions, Snowy Cube. If not, that is okay. My Discord is open. You can ask me questions whenever, or DM me. Either or. So I think that's pretty much going to be it for our first one. So thanks for catching up with me, Snowy Cube. Remember we did you a little over a week ago. We did a Vatari with you. I think that was on Ana though. I could be wrong. But kind of covered everything. So yeah, keep practicing, keep playing the game. You still got a long ways to go, but that's okay, right? Keep playing the game, keep learning, keep improving. For sure.